Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Hello. Sorry. Let me take a drink. It's like I try to take a deep breath and my lungs are like, no. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Pastors and a Podcast. The sick edition.
The sick edition. You're on the upswing.
Finally.
I am not on the upswing. I am on the downswing.
It's good times. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
My back hurts. My nose is running. My throat is super, super scratchy. No, well.
I have no one to blame but the flowers. Just kidding. We wish it was just the flowers.
All right, we'll give a couple of seconds for people to hop on because I just sent the text. Let me see if it's gone through. It has not gone through. Oh, yeah, it did. It went through. It went through. All right. Good morning to whoever watches this later. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got, I'm loaded today. We've got my Bible, I got my cough drops, I got coffee, and Kleenex.
Tissues.
Here we are. Here we are.
I sneezed less yesterday than I had the couple days before, so I'm feeling A+.
Low key, today I was thinking, if I start sneezing, I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't want to do that again. when I for some reason since COVID started. Yeah, oh, good. I'm glad you like the heads up.
Was that Amber?
No.
Oh.
Missy.
Hi, Missy.
Since COVID, whenever I get the flu or a cold, or I just sneeze.
It's nuts.
Sneeze and sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. It's torture.
It is.
It's just torture. I haven't felt that way, but I just want to scratch the inside of my throat.
Yep.
It's just itchy. I don't like that feeling. I don't like it at all.
Well, my issue is I'll wake up in the morning, or not even in the morning. I'll just wake up in the middle of the night, and I'll shift. I'll switch sides, lay on my back or something, and then everything starts draining.
Yeah.
And my nose starts itching. I just sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. And the beautiful little star must know what's wrong when we sneeze.
Oh, yes.
So she just comes right up in my face and like, are you alive? No, I'm not.
I don't
Go away.
I don't want to be. So I'm just kind of agitated with the sick season. Like, it took me 2 weeks to get over the tummy stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now this hits me. I'm just so tired of either Carrie or the girls or now myself. It's just been a winter of pure sickness, it feels like.
It has, which is crazy because we had flu A and flu B.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I got a flu back in August when, at my uncle's funeral.
Uh-huh.
And I had another, cold later. And then I get a tummy bug. And now I got a cold again.
This is why we hate winter. It's
I'm
the
over it.
worst.
I'm over. And today, I'll be real honest, it's warm outside, but it's gross outside.
It is.
It's muggy.
And I think it's supposed to rain again, which is never fun.
I'm already over spring.
Yeah.
I'm over it all.
The grass is greener.
It's a little greener. You're right.
Right out there. I'm looking at it.
It's a little
Just
greener.
don't look at that patch
You're
right there.
You're right. You're right. It is a little greener outside.
Keith and I took a walk around our property yesterday. And I was like, oh, look, the lilac bush is getting its buds. Yay.
Oh, really? I immediately think
Yes.
it's going to be this for the next 2 months.
Yes.
But I think I just have the flu. So.
You do, which also could last 2 months. At least it feels like it.
Wow. What else is new? Are you guys okay? I hope you're okay. We'll make it through the winter together. Also, the time change is not helping. Are you kidding me? The worst possible timing for a time change is when I'm not feeling good anyway.
It's torture.
And then we have this dumb time change that makes zero sense.
Literally torture.
Just keep it what it was. Keep it what it was. I don't need the sun to go down at 10 o'clock. In fact, for someone like me that's a night owl, I prefer the sun to go down earlier. And who's staying out late anyway? You got kids. You want the sun to go down later or earlier so that they actually go to bed. So please stop doing this torture.
Ella's been asking for the past 2 days, when is it not going to be a short night? Like, it was only one night that was a short night, honey. And she's like, but I'm just so tired.
I know. The studies have shown that in this time change, when with the spring forward, yesterday is the most unproductive workday of the year.
I would agree with that. Yep.
And people are just exhausted and groggy.
I've heard micro sleeps are a thing during this week.
Oh, where you just like take naps?
But
Is
like,
that like a nap?
you kind of like you zone out, except your body goes to sleep without you being actually asleep because you're just so tired.
Oh, that's funny. That might be me at 1 o'clock scrolling reels on my computer while I'm sitting at my desk. Well, most unproductive day of the year yesterday.
Were you productive?
I felt terrible.
I'm usually not productive on a Monday.
I was here.
Usually.
I met with someone here at the church and did some pastoral
That's
time.
productive.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
It was a good couple hours. And then I actually went to Lily's basketball game.
Yep.
And felt miserable.
Yep.
Also, with the ADHD, Mondays I can't regulate very well.
I believe it.
So the refs heard me probably a bit too much. Lily heard me too much. So I just couldn't I didn't have the cap where I could be like,
There's
hey,
no
you don't have to
control.
let that out
Yep.
and hold it. I just didn't have that. So it all just blew.
It was a fun game to watch, though. I mean, fun for me.
First half was it was literally terrible, but it is what it is. The girls improved a lot. And they had, some of them had fun. Some of them did not get enough playing time. You can pass that on. I don't have any regulation. Tell the coach, do better. If you're going to keep 12 girls on the squad, make sure 2/3 of them never touch the floor. Don't make sure that 2/3 of them touch the floor and don't just
sit there
for an entire season. But
Yeah.
I guess you kind of learn that as you go as a coach. I did find myself missing coaching last night. And to be fair, I looked down and with judgmental eyes, and I thought I was better than all the coaches that were down there. So
That's how Keith is, too. Sorry to call you out there, babe. But he does the same thing. Anytime the kids are in sports, he's just like, man, why don't they do why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? I'm like, I don't know. Go ask them. I don't want to. Okay with it. Deal with it.
And then I remember coaching, and it's not like I had the best ideas off the top of my head anyway.
Yeah.
So on the floor, it's different. But
Yeah.
anyway, Lily progressed. She got 3 fouls in the first quarter.
Go Lily.
Got to teach her to. There was one point where she was going to set a screen for Mila. I was so grateful she did not make contact, because I think Lily's trying to figure out how to be tougher, physically tougher.
Yeah.
And she's already a lot more scrappy now than she used to be.
Yeah,
She's just a
absolutely.
little uncoordinated.
That's okay.
Which is why she has to be scrappy. And anyway, she goes up to set a screen, and I kid you not, shoulder down, football,
Tackle.
and she missed her. And I was like, oh, if you'd have clutched, that girl would have gone flying.
Yep.
I was just like, oh, Lily, that's not a screen. that's not a screen.
She's doing great.
But if you would have hit it, she had a good drive though. She caught the ball, spun to the basket, drove. It was a lesson from Dad where she kept driving, and if someone got in front of her, she'd stop and panic and just throw the ball.
Yeah.
She'd just throw the ball. It would just go somewhere. And I said, listen, half a second rule. You have half a second to decide what you're going to do with the ball. That's not a lot of time. If you're going to drive the ball, that's your decision. It doesn't matter who gets in your way. Someone's going to come down all the time. If you turn and dribble and move to the basket, you have to finish. And she did it yesterday.
Good.
She didn't stop. She spun. She went to the basket. She missed it, but it wasn't a bad miss. And then she got to the free throw line. She missed both of those shots, but they were good form.
Yep.
But she listened to her dad. She drove. She went all the way to the basket. I was really proud of her.
Nothing makes the dad more proud than being listened to.
Yeah, I know. I know. And
I will say, I can't.
And in my life, like nothing makes me feel happier than just anybody. Anybody at all.
This is true.
Well, just please heed
This is
my
true.
advice.
I was going to say, I can't remember the last time I saw her play. I don't know if I've seen her play in middle school or not. I can't remember. Maybe once.
I don't know.
But since the last time I saw her play, she has improved a lot. I'm very proud of her.
Yeah,
it was a fun one to watch.
I'm just glad she didn't set that screen.
That was the gold star of the night.
Because shoulder was down, and she umphed into it. It wasn't like she just put her shoulder down and stood there. She was targeting. I'm like, honey, you're not. Like, this is not.
Get her out of here.
If she would have contacted that girl, was going flying, It's like, oh dear. Anyway, it was really funny. Well, fun note. Oh, go ahead. Let's do our real react. Let's get going.
Okay.
That's our real react. Are you going to link it in the comment section?
I'm going to send it to you, and you're going to link it.
Oh, that's right.
Because
Do I have to do that?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't want to download 2 apps again.
Sorry for the coughs.
Nope. Don't tell him yet. Can't do that. There we go. All right.
Okay, let me put it in there.
Hold on. I got to find your name. I feel like I should have done this at the beginning. This is what should have happened. There we go.
We're on year 2, and we're still figuring
That's
out
fine.
how to prepare for.
Sent.
Okay.
And it has to do with what we're talking about in core. So I thought it was a good
one. Okay, copy. And then we got to go to Facebook. And I'm going to post it in the comments. I can't do it on. Can you copy the link and do a YouTube? We'll just put it in the comments. Oh, my nose is itchy.
so much work. Copy link.
All right. Pop it in the comments. It's an Instagram thing.
Is that going to go? No, it did the same thing again. Okay. Hold on. I got to download Facebook.
All right. No, you just need YouTube.
YouTube. Put it in YouTube.
Yeah, I did
I have
Facebook.
YouTube. Look at
know.
me go.
This is what I pay for.
Yep. You get what you pay for.
High quality.
This is accurate.
High quality. Hey, there's the Instagram reel right there in the Facebook link. Caitlin's taking care of YouTube just in case those of you on YouTube want to watch it. This is our real react. So that means I got to pull it up.
I've literally never
On my phone.
commented on a Facebook thing before. How do I do that?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
You should just have a comment. And then let me see your phone.
Technologically challenged over here. I grew up with the internet, and this is what I get.
Do we allow comments?
I don't know. This is a great question. Last week, Dawn was just texting me her comments, so I don't know.
Maybe you can't. Okay, well, it's not going to be on YouTube. You find it on Facebook if you're on YouTube. Just pop over to Facebook and find it. All right. Hi,
Yeah,
Amber.
I'll send it to you.
All right, here we go. I'm watching this real react. It's a good thing I have. Not now, please. Is it just a meme?
No.
Okay, why won't it play? Oh, my goodness. Is it the classroom? Wait, hold on. I didn't get it. Hold
So
on.
confused.
It's cool.
I like how my reels are always really funny and yours are like, let's get angry for a minute.
Wait. It's Tuesday. Why are the tornado sirens going off?
Because we're going to.
Those don't go off till Wednesday. Aaron. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. The question is, are we getting a tornado
No,
today?
we're not getting a tornado.
No, for
right
real.
now.
Like, they don't do drills until Wednesdays. It's the Wednesday.
I thought it was on Tuesdays. Was it not?
Mm-mm. Checking the weather real quick. We're having an emergency.
Go to Montgomery County Chatter.
No, don't go. Please don't go. Please don't ever. Don't ever go there. Gosh, if you want to just
No.
feel
we
like
have-
you're living in the worst place in the world, go there.
There's no bad weather until
Okay.
tomorrow morning.
All right, we're fine. Crisis averted. All right, so real react. It was the golden calf. And a teacher screaming, "You done messed up, Aaron."
Poor AA Ron.
Oh, it's a national drill today. This is why maybe some people should watch what's going on in the world.
Oh,
I don't.
I guess we should probably.
Okay,
do that.
no tornadoes today. You done messed up, Aaron. The question I have for you is which one said that? You done messed up.
God.
You see, I don't know. I think Moses was the one that was like the most mad about
He
it.
was
Morning,
very
Kathy.
angry. Moses was very angry.
Yeah, he's comes down from the mountain, and what does he do?
I feel like Moses is my spirit animal.
Hey, if you,
God, God, please, if there's anybody else.
yeah, that's fair. So Moses comes down from the mountain, and his solution, God's just like, I'm just done with these people, right? And Moses comes down, he slams the tablets on the ground, like these don't even matter because they can't even get the first one right. And then their punishment is he grinds it all down to a powder and puts it in their water, and they have to drink it.
I know. He's so petty.
But low key, I feel like Aaron got off the hook. Aaron got off the hook.
He did.
He got off the hook.
He did.
I don't know if he had to drink it or not, but it's his fault.
It is. And he also then became the priest, right?
Yeah, the lineage of Aaron. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is like, must be nice. Being the brother. Have you seen those I think it's called The Promised Land. It is on YouTube, but I think they've taken it off on YouTube, but it's like the Office type
satire kind of thing.
Satire, except it's about Moses and the Israelites.
I have not seen that, but that sounds like something I would thoroughly enjoy.
It's very funny.
Okay.
And there's this one guy who's like having his interview, and he's like, Aaron is the priest. Nepotism.
That's not wrong. That's not wrong.
I'll find it to you and send you a link. It is really
It's
funny.
called The Promised Land?
I think so. The Promised Land, I think. I'll look it up.
I love
I know.
satire. Sarcastic humor like that makes me chuckle a lot. Okay, I think that was funny. That's my role of react. It's kind of funny.
It doesn't have much conversation to go with it. I just thought it was a good...
They don't have to. I like it.
It went well with our core series.
Yeah. It's good to chuckle sometimes and not have to overthink. Last week, we did enough thinking
We
for
did.
the world.
We
This
did.
week, we don't need to think. We can just talk about being sick and...
Hey, Ron, messing up.
He done messed up, hey, Ron. Oh, hey, by the way, Bob's painting's out today. That painting that you see on there, you can't see it very well. But this painting, it's got lots of pinks and yellows. The sky is, in Bob's words, during this painting, on fire.
Oh.
I just watched this episode the other day. The thing that you're trying to do and you don't succeed, if you learn from it, it's not a failure.
He's got such good advice.
I know. I posted that on Facebook the other day. I watched Bob Ross from my recliner in my office on my computer screen for like 3 hours one night. I was just tired and not feeling good. And he's like, don't worry about messing up. He kind of messed up. He's like, we're going to put a big old tree here. Trees cover up a multitude of sins.
They do.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I kind of appreciate that.
They do. They do indeed.
I do love Bob Ross. He takes me back to simpler time. It wasn't a better time. We had our problems in the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
For sure, and the 90s. But it was just a simpler, slower time.
He is the godfather of ASMR. Like, really.
If I'm having a hard sensory day, I can't watch his videos on Amazon because they didn't remaster the volume.
Yeah.
So you get that
Yeah, it's
on
really
this.
loud.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
like that at
yeah,
all. I
yeah.
can't handle that. So Fubo has got it figured out. They've
Good.
remastered the volume a little bit
Good.
so you don't hear as much
Yep.
of the Canvas stuff. But anyway, on a plus note, I have a new Bible today, and Mike and Pam got this for me. I noticed Pam had it on Sunday, or Wednesday. Sorry, Wednesday, not Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the new Inductive Study Bible, which is in the NASB, or the New American Standard Bible. And that version, by the way, if you don't know what that is kind of a step up in literal translation from the NRSV. And so it's going to be a little clunky in the language because they're just trying to stay as close as they possibly can to Greek and Hebrew. Yep. It's not going to be perfect, but there's not an interpretive or a dogmatic approach to the translation. Like, we want to emphasize Reformed theology or holiness theology. It's just here are the sentences. So it can be a little clunky because Greek and Hebrew are oftentimes a little clunky, and especially as dead languages, you kind of got to fill in some gaps. Yeah. It's like Jurassic Park and
fill in
the frog DNA or whatever it is. Like, you got to piece that in. Anyway, what I like about this, I was super excited about. Inductive Bible study is when you are letting the text master you, and there's kind of a step process. This one's a little more simplified, so it's a great introduction for people, but it's just about observation more than anything. Don't worry, Carrie. Everything's fine. It's just about observation more than anything, where you read the letter or the book. You read it in one sitting. You read it slower. You just pay attention to themes. You kind of jot those things down. And then you read it again another time, and you start to color code things or underline things. Maybe you circle names or you highlight in yellow this, that, or the other. And then you read it again, and you do some more of that, but then you also start to add your own paragraph breaks or your own chapter titles, or, or if you want to move a chapter, you can move a chapter start, and you can kind of nod why. Because you remember, chapters and verses are just for scribes copying back in the day. I prefer you just copy it in paper and take out all the chapters and verses. But anyway, and there's another step, and then if you go even further in kind of an academic way, there's a couple more beyond that. But it's just about you. It's just dwelling in the text, and you starting to see the patterns, and you starting to see the themes. And by the time you get done with a book in an inductive study, you have your own commentary.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this study Bible, which I didn't know existed until Wednesday, is that it's got all the sections for notes. It's got kind of a little brief introductory to each book of the Bible and kind of things to be looking for. And it gives you examples of how to do it, like visual examples of how to underline or what you might underline, those kinds of things. And so you can have this Bible and do an inductive study on every book in the Bible if you wanted to. Yep. And when you get done, you literally have this on the shelf. That's your own commentary. Yep. Just from your work. Yep. And then when you start to go to commentaries, you have like a good scriptural base behind that. So anyway, I'm really excited about it. If you've ever done an inductive study and you wanted to do more, I think this is fantastic. So you should give it a try. If you've never done an inductive Bible study, having a Bible like this makes me want to do one. So if you've never done one and you want to spend time with me to kind of like learn how, then here we go.
The NASB is like my nostalgia because that's what I grew up reading.
Yeah, I have a pocket version of the NASB, but I don't have it didn't have this. So I'm super excited about it. Thank you, Mike and Pam.
And where did you get one so that I can have one?
Yeah. That's fair. So pretty cool. All right, so we've done our Real React. Yep. I've done a plug that I don't get paid for this study Bible.
Hey, you never know. One day.
I'm your guy.
Absolutely.
So what's your God thing this week? It's been a week of illness, but do you have a God thing for this week?
Yeah, it was a rough week.
Yeah, I know.
Give me a second. Let me think.
I'll share mine to start.
Okay.
Mine didn't happen until Sunday, and I didn't know about it until yesterday, or I couldn't have connected the dots until yesterday. Sorry.
Drainage.
So youth group happened, and we're still working through parables.
Yeah.
And last Sunday we did the prodigal son part 1, which was just the younger brother.
Yeah.
Because I think also, for your own purposes, the prodigal son is not just the younger son. It's also the prodigal is the older son that really represents Israel and being frustrated that people are included that they don't think deserves it. That's a prodigal son too. So we're going to do part 2 next week. But we did part 1. And I started, so the way we do youth time is we read the Bible together.
Uh-huh.
Then I just give a few fillers to help them visualize things a little bit better. Give them some descriptions or point out some key things to help them understand it a little bit better. And then so we did that. We read the Bible story, and then we did that. I don't know who that is pulling in. I didn't lock the door. Did you lock the door?
No.
It is what it is. So then what I do is after I give some filler, then I give them sketchbooks, and I say, whatever comes to your mind, whatever words or sentences or visuals comes to your mind, you get to do that, whatever it is, however you connect. And then I tell the story in more of a relational, relatable way. So I did that, and it was perfectly timed message for a couple of our students. And I started with this, what's the lowest version of yourself? And anyway, the God moment was this kind of gracious reminder that you don't know who the words are for. Someone's coming in. You don't know who the words are for, and sometimes it doesn't feel like they're for anybody. But God has a plan, and God worked that. I'll be right back.
We're just going to sit here and chill together. Are they selling something?
It's gonna be my 15 minutes of fame. It's a journal review. They want to do an interview on Easter. I don't know what that means, but here we are.
Interview on Easter?
Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody, but So anyway, my God moment was God using. Sometimes I feel like in ministry, youth ministry especially, I feel washed up, and I'm not sure if anything's working. And so these God moments where it's like, oh no, I gave you what to say for the right people at the right time. And to see that kind of come to fruition last night and be like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's really cool. That was perfectly timed for them. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. So that was my God moment. God's still faithful even when you feel like you can't do it. You can't do enough. It's not working, and it doesn't feel like you're getting any wins. That was a nice Monday afternoon. It's not about me, but God got the win. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That was my God moment. What's your God moment? You had some time. What if there was one?
Well, I got a call from my dad, I think, sometime early last week. And you know how grandparents are when they've been hanging out with their grandkids. They got to tell you all the little stories that have
Yeah, that's
happened
right.
that, they
Right.
found enjoyable and stuff. And he was telling me about Asher talking about the Trinity.
Oh.
And he was talking about how, they sorry, my dad and Asher are couch potato buddies.
Ah, yes.
So Asher will be playing on the iPad, sitting next to Papaw, and Papaw will be, scrolling YouTube or whatever. And sometimes when Asher gets to thinking about something, he'll want to talk to you about it. And when he wants to talk about it, it lasts a very long time. The hyper focus is real. And so he was telling me that Asher was just talking about the Trinity for 15 minutes and trying to figure it out and asking questions and telling Papa about it. And it was my God moment, because kind of like you, sometimes I feel like I'm just repeating things for no reason. My kids aren't really listening to me anyway, so
right.
But it's good to know that he is picking up on the important stuff, and if we continue to be faithful to them, God will also be faithful. And that was a good one for me.
It's probably good for all of us, honestly. I think, especially when you have kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews that are around a lot, it can easily feel you can feel defeated so much, whether that's through their decisions or just do they not even hear me, or even at the church, if you're leading a discipleship group or you're serving our kids or whatever, sometimes it can be really easy to feel like it's not making any difference. But you just got to trust that, one, it's not about you. It's not about your work. And I have to remember that. It's not about you. It's not about your sermon or the quality of it or whether you get all the responses in a life lived. I don't care about people saying, oh, that was a great sermon. I judge myself on if it's actually changing anyone's life or not.
Yeah.
And most often I beat myself up there. And so it's this good kind of calming step back that says, okay, just God is the one that does the growing, and the seeds from him anyway. Just trust that maybe through the repetition of it, as long as you're teaching the right things, it will catch.
Yeah.
It will. It just doesn't seem like it does sometimes.
Well,
so don't stop. Don't stop doing
that's right.
it. Yeah.
We're also very impatient beings. Just humans in general are very impatient, and God's timing is his own timing. It's okay that it takes time. It's okay that it can be slow.
Yeah, just keep teaching, keep talking about it. And, that's why I think I've tried to preach so hard about, we don't have volunteers at Harbor. We have people who serve our kids.
Yeah.
And it can be disheartening or overwhelming to feel like, or not even disheartening or overwhelming. It can almost, to some, maybe feel superfluous. Like, oh, they're just kids. They just play. No, we don't just play. We tell stories. We give them coloring pages or crafts or whatever. And we do that hoping. And hope is we know this will come true.
Yeah.
But hoping that even if it feels like they're not hearing it, they are.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in their own way, they're wrestling with it. If you're serving your kids at home, which that's what we should be doing as parents or grandparents, if we're serving them at home, it might feel like they're not hearing it, but they are.
Yeah.
So just keep doing it, even when you feel like you're defeated, or is it making a difference? And listen, in your home life, we only see them a couple hours, maybe a couple hours a week if you come on a Wednesday night. Otherwise, it's 30 minutes. You are your family members, your kids, your teenagers, your nephews, your nieces, your you are their anchor. You're going to be the one that really reinforces and those kinds of things. So just don't give up hope. Keep telling them the stories. And we're going through core together. So what a cool way to hey, here's what we learned on Sunday. What did you guys learn? And that's be able to talk about it as a family. Mm-hmm. It will work. It will set in. But those kind of doctrinal things like the Trinity is really cool to hear.
It
That
is
should give you
funny.
some hope that like they don't have to just think like children. You can even bring in some of the bigger concepts that are hard to wrap your mind around. And honestly, kids are probably going to have an easier time not rationalizing it and just hearing it for what it is.
Yeah.
So even the big stuff.
Well, we talked about, having a black and white kind of view of the world anyway, and that's just kind of where that age group is. They're very black and white.
But they're also more imaginative than we are.
That's right.
So you can talk about the Trinity and all the ways that we talk about it that are woefully inaccurate and come way short sometimes. And we say in theological circles that the Trinity is a mystery. Mm-hmm. And there's so much about God that is mystery. And that's a good theological term. Yep. But in the Enlightenment people that we are, we have to figure everything out. And so sometimes we water the Trinity down too much as adults because we got to make it an egg, which is totally modalism and heresy. What do you mean? It's all, it's like, it's hard for us to let our imaginations be broad and sometimes say, I don't know if this will ever make sense on this side of heaven.
Yeah.
To tell that to kids, though, they have a little bit more willingness in their minds to see the world in a more, I don't mean this in a bad way, but more magical way, where everything's possible.
Yep.
Even if it doesn't make sense, because they're not in the rational world of, well, A plus B equals C, and this is all that it can be. So they can wrestle with the Trinity, and you can say things like, well, it's not like this. Oh, okay. And they'll bounce around with that. So it's pretty cool.
It is. It's a lot of fun. But it's just kind of funny. My 8-year-old's talking about
the Trinity.
And I'm just like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
That's right. That's
good.
really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, thinking of, I told the church on Sunday I changed my sermon.
Yeah, which I haven't listened to yet. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It was nothing special. But I originally I told you I was going to preach on Passover.
Yep.
And connect it to communion.
Which was where we still landed.
That's right. So it's good for us to talk about it as adults today.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I ended up focusing on instead the juxtaposition between how the Israelites started in Exodus and how they left, what they looked like when they left Egypt. And the juxtaposition between Pharaoh, Egypt, and the Israelites overall. You got hair.
Dog fur.
Oh,
Thanks.
And then so it was more the God's work of humbling the exalted and lifting up the lowly. That's where we settled on Sunday. But I thought it would still be really good to talk about the Passover.
Yeah.
Because we hear about it. Yeah. In fact, even when you get to the Passion narrative, and Easter is right around the corner. So we're thinking about Maundy Thursday now, right? Maundy Thursday service. Our Holy Week services are at 6 o'clock at night, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And then we have sunrise pancake sunrise at 7 o'clock.
Whenever sunrise is.
No, it's not. It's at 7 o'clock is what sunrise is every time. But then we actually have Easter Sunday service at 8:30 in the morning. So there's a little bit of a gap, but we just enjoy pancakes and sausage. And anyway, it was last year was our first time. It was
I think that was Asher's favorite Sunday ever.
Yeah.
Because he loves pancakes.
I know.
It was like his dream.
Great way to start. But the services, the 3 nights before, they only lasted about 45 minutes apiece, but they connected to each movement of the Passion Week. So Maundy Thursday is on the way, and that's our first service, and that's communion.
Yeah.
And obviously Jesus is, they go in when they enter Jerusalem, and before this moment, they want to prepare for the Passover meal. So Passover is a big deal. And then you have communion happen in that moment. So I want, it was interesting to think about the Passover and dwell on that for a while before rewriting my sermon. Because a big word stuck out to me.
Okay.
And that was the word liturgy.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wanted to play around with this kind of, it's kind of inserted in Exodus chapter 12. It's inserted in there almost out of nowhere. There's just this weird block of text that gives a break between the plague number 9 and the 10th plague, the darkness and then death. And then you have this big block of text that's in there talking about two things. And we almost blur them together, but they're two separate things. There's the Passover meal and the preparation. And then there's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the festival of unleavened bread. And both of those are two distinct things in Israelite worship culture later, but they're both connected to the same thing. And that's where that word liturgy really stuck out in some of my study and reading, whether that's Fretheim or Brueggemann. So I just like to help us answer a big question, or not answer a big question, but think and rethink how and why we worship. And why that word liturgy, which has historically in our circles become almost like unfairly a bad word, a scary word.
Yeah.
And wrongly so, like, oh, you immediately think, oh, that's Catholic or that's whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's just liturgy.
Yeah.
But there's liturgy everywhere. So we'll make more sense of that in a minute. But I thought I wanted to point out a couple of things, and maybe we'll just read it. You okay if we just read some of the Bible today? And I want to highlight a couple of things as we go. So I'm going to read out the NASB today. You're going to have the NRSV.
Yep.
We just have the darkness. And then chapter 12 starts. The Lord talks to Moses there, and he says, verse 2, "This month shall be the beginning of months for you. It is to be the first month of the year for you." So if you remember my first course sermon, we did the beginning. We talked about the Enuma Elish and how in Babylon you would act that. That's liturgy. You would act that out for a week at the beginning of the year to reinforce how the gods created the world. And I made the comment, I said maybe we should start with that. The reason why we don't start with that, or why the Jews don't start with that, is the Jews start with this. They start with the Passover. The beginning of the year starts with this Passover meal. And the Passover meal is different than the Passover, though it stems from it. So it's the beginning of the year, right? We're gonna have this liturgy at the beginning of the year. And then you get to verse 3. At the beginning of the month, 10th day of the month, they are to take a lamb for themselves according to their father's households, a lamb for each household. Now, if the household is too small for a lamb, then he and his neighbor nearest to his house are to take one according to the number of persons in them. According to what each man should eat, they are to divide the lamb. It reads way different than yours. But basically what that says is, okay, every household has a lamb.
Yep.
If you can't afford a lamb, because that's a pretty pricey thing, if you don't have a lamb and you can't afford a lamb, then you share with someone that has a lamb is supposed to bring you into their home.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to divide that lamb up equally amongst everyone that's at the table.
Yep.
Now, that's important to remember, because when Paul is chastising the Corinthians for receiving wrongly the Eucharist or the communion, that's kind of a picture of what's happening. He's saying you shouldn't take this with the wrong heart. I'm paraphrasing right there. And the wrong heart was the wealthy were coming who weren't slaves, that were Romans. They were free to go to house church whenever they wanted to. And they had this shared meal every time they gathered, which is remembering Christ and those kinds of things. So we think the Eucharist, we think communion in less of a formal way. But they were eating their fill. And then finally the slaves and the poor would finally be able to come, and there was nothing left.
Right, yeah.
And Paul's just like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
This is, and all of Corinthians like, where's the unity? What is happening right now? And so he's pushing them back, like, how dare you eat to your fill and leave the poor hungry? This is not Christ, kind of thing. And so so I immediately think back to this of, no, one family's not going to have a lamb, and they're not going to have blood to put on the doorpost.
Yeah.
You have to share.
Yeah.
Everyone gets to eat, no matter how poor or how rich they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so unblemished 1 year old, it can be from the sheep or the goats. You're going to keep it to then. You're going to kill it at twilight. You just take some of the blood. You're going to put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses in which they eat it. They shall eat the flesh the same night, roasted with fire. They shall eat it with unleavened bread, so the festival of unleavened bread, and bitter herbs. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled at all with water, but rather roasted with fire, both its head and its legs along with its entrails. You shall not leave any of it over until the morning, but whatever is left of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. So that's kind of like right away, everyone gets a lamb. Everyone divides it up accordingly. Here's how you cook it. Here's how you're going to eat it. Here's what you do with whatever. If anything's left over, here's what you do with it. And here's the unleavened bread that you're going to eat along with it. And then in verse 11, really kind of starts to show how they were going to eat it. So you're going to eat it in this manner, with your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste, quickly. It is the Lord's Passover. And so there's a participation element in this, right? For I'm going to go through the land, I'm going to strike down the firstborn. The blood shall be a sign for you, not a sign for God, but for them on your houses where you live, that when I see blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will befall you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. So that is not a sign of God. It's a sign of God, but it's not for God. It's for you, that this God is trustworthy and true, right? This is the sign, not something you're looking ahead, but the reminder. This is the sign that God passes over you. And then verse 15, and this shall be a memorial to you, and you shall celebrate it as a feast of the Lord throughout your generations. You are to celebrate it as a permanent ordinance, right? So this is where the Passover meal becomes something that they reenact year after year after year in that first month of the year. And then you get to the 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, but on the first day, you go through all of this for a holy assembly. In verse 16, on the first day you shall have a holy assembly, and another holy assembly on the 7th day. No work at all shall be done on them, except what must be eaten by every person, that alone may be prepared for you, or by you. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for on this day, this very day, I brought your hosts out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day throughout your generations as a permanent ordinance. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month after the evening. 7 days there shall be no leavened bread found in your houses, for whoever eats what is leavened, that person shall be cut off from the congregation. You shall not eat anything that is leavened. In all your dwellings you shall eat unleavened bread. Okay, and then Moses calls the people and he tells them what to do. Then we get down to the 10th plague eventually, right? So it's kind of in this, all of that instruction is kind of like wildly inserted, because he's going to then, it's repeated. Like then Moses goes and he tells everyone the same exact thing, and then, then the Lord brings the 10th plague. When I say the word, so before I start filling in some gaps, maybe you, if you're listening and you can type, when you hear the word liturgy, what comes to your mind? What does that mean to you?
Me. Okay. I think of like deep-rooted tradition.
Okay.
I think of liturgy as reminders.
Okay. So deep-rooted tradition, reminders, okay.
Yeah. There was another word that I was going to say, but I can't remember it now. Choo-choo.
Well, like I said earlier, liturgy is kind of a scary word today.
Yeah.
Because we immediately attach ritual.
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 That was the word.
That's a good word. Ritual.
That was
we tend to attach in the church world ritual.
Yes,
we have this very Protestant way of thinking that is kind of like not not very Martin Luther Protestant way of
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Where it's just a very reactionary against anything that might feel or look Catholic. And
Yeah.
liturgy is ritualistic. It's
Yeah.
where you do things in a service in a structured way that might have back and forth, might have repeated elements. But it's a lot of reenacting in that very steeped tradition.
Yep.
But it's all about worship.
Yep.
And truth is, I think why it should not be a scary word for Protestant people is that everything we do is liturgy.
Yes.
In the most non-denominational evangelical church, the way they order their service is liturgy.
Yeah.
Whether they would know that or not, like liturgy is a lot of ordering, a lot of ritual. It's your own patterns, it's your own rhythms, and it's what reinforces right theology or what kind of people are supposed to be in the world. It's just that movement, and liturgy, most importantly, the right kind of liturgy should never be temporary or only connected to how you feel today. Right liturgy should always connect you to the past.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why you say tradition,
Yep.
steeped in tradition and memory. That's what liturgy is all about. It connects you to history. And that's why I like James Smith's book, How We Inhabit Time. And in there he talks about the world's view of time is very linear, right? Beginning, end, past, present, future, but it's always progressing forward and you leave behind. And what happened back then happened to them, and where you are now happens to you. And that's where you get a lot of, like, today when it comes to, like, systemic racism and things like that. It's like, oh, well, we didn't do it. No. The church says we live circular. We are all attached to the past. And liturgy is this, sorry, that sounds like a weird example. I just wanted to see it as like a personal connection.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that more, but the church lives in a circular, the church calendar and the liturgies of the church, where we connect ourselves to the past. But ironically, that's our past. That's happening to us now, even though it happened way back then. And liturgy is just reenacting that out so that the past becomes your present and becomes your future. So the church lives in this like vacuum of time where we never leave behind. In the Greek text, there's a verb form called the perfect tense. And it's not past, and it's not future, and it's not present, but it's kind of all of them. So when you have a perfect tense verb in the Greek, is this thing happen? Yes. But its consequences and its action continue today and continue into the future. So we think in absolutes. The past is the past, it's done. And they have that tense in Greek. Present is the present, it's done, it's happening. They have that tense in Greek. Future's coming, right? They have that tense in Greek. But Greek has the perfect tense.
Okay.
So a lot of times in Greek, when we talk about salvation or when the word salvation or whatever that might be, a phrase or sentence or whatever, most of the time that's in the perfect tense. We have been saved. And the best way we can translate that in like English is like having been saved or we are having been saved or something like that, where we were saved.
It continues on into the future.
But the action never stopped.
Okay, that
the
makes
action
sense.
still happens. And so we can say, do you know that you are saved? Yes. Do you believe you are being saved still? Yes. That's because that's a very perfect tense way of viewing the world. So the church lives in this perfect tense world. Israel lived in this perfect tense world where what happened in the past is still happening and you're attached to that. That's your story. And all throughout Exodus when they're journeying through the wilderness or whatever, that's their failure too.
Yeah.
The failure of Aaron's failure.
Yep.
That's their failure too.
Yeah.
God's grace, God's deliverance, that's their deliverance as much as it was those. It's a very perfect tense kind of world that they lived in.
Interesting.
What's interesting about this text is you see how Moses and God, or God and through Moses, was addressing how they were going to worship from this time on.
Yeah.
God sets up liturgy. So thinking the year, every year, beginning of the year, you're going to reenact this because this is happening to you in whatever time you live in. And so the Lord passed over for you too, not just the Lord passed over many years ago. So it connects them to the history and it makes it their own present as well. So you get this picture of you're going to do, as your worship as a community of people, you're going to do what these people did so many years ago. And that's going to form the basis of your worship all year long. What are you looking at?
That's what they're writing in the Wesley Study Bible too. I was just reading it in a different, whatever. But it says the same thing. And I never caught that before. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I was really shaped by that why do we have all these instructions? Why are they redundant? Because Moses is going to say it to the people again. And then after the 10th plague, when they're done, hey, it's in like chapter 15 or something like that. It's like, here it comes again. Here's all the ordinances.
It does make a lot more sense, too, why the rules or the laws seem repetitive.
It is forming how they worship.
Yeah.
This, especially these festivals, the Festival of Unleavened Bread, the Passover meal, this isn't just like a party they do once in a while to remember and celebrate. It's not like the 4th of July.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about as you were talking about that. I was like, okay, so what do we don't really have anything like that in secular culture because holidays are not really meant for that.
Right.
Anymore.
It's just kind of a celebration.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad way to look at it.
Right.
That's just what it is. Like a birthday party is a birthday party.
Yeah.
4th of July party is hey, we're celebrating, right? We appreciate that. Or whatever that day might be. They're celebrations. Great.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But they're not liturgy.
Yeah.
Again, liturgy is how you order your worship.
Yeah.
And how your worship connects you to the larger scope of God's history in the world. So we aren't just isolated Christians living today on our own, detached from everything that happened before, good and bad, detached from everything that's coming ahead of us.
So it's not just a reminder.
Yeah, that's right. That's a 4th of July. Okay. This is a reminder, right?
Not just a reminder.
Right.
It can be used, but that's not the sole purpose.
It is a reminder.
Yes.
But what that reminder exists to do is different.
Okay.
It's perfect tense, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's cool. Okay.
So when Jesus is going to the upper room with his disciples, and they're preparing the Passover meal, and he's going to have the Passover meal with his disciples, Jesus is going through liturgy. He is worshiping with his community. He is reenacting what God did way back in Egypt, participating in it. Now it's a part of Jesus' identity. And it had been his whole life, right? He's participating in that. So what happened to Moses and the people so many thousand years prior is now Jesus is intimately connected to that in worship and in action today. And then his disciples are too. So I want to say first, why would God do that? Why would God institute liturgy, which seems so stuffy and high church and, in our words, Catholic or whatever kind of denigrating term we use because we don't want to do this study to learn a little bit more. That's my unfiltered approach. Yeah, like we can do better. We're supposed to take this faith a little more seriously than just brushing it off with dumb comments, right? So why would God enact liturgy for these people? Because how you worship actually matters.
Yeah.
And if your worship does not connect you as to what's happened before, as not just a reminder, but as this is my story, this is my song.
Yeah.
Right? This is it. This is who we are. If your worship on a Sunday is not doing that, it's not right worship. It's my biggest grief and complaint against the modern charismatic movement and any church movement, because we've all kind of adopted it, where everything's just about emotions and my sense of God's presence is, did I feel goosebumps or not? Or did I cry in a sermon? Or did I get my help today? Sunday worship was never supposed to be
It's not about
that.
us.
Yeah, it's not about us. It is about reenacting and
Yeah.
living into the story of the gospel
Yeah.
every time.
Because that is our story, but
Right.
it's God.
So right worship, how you worship and wrestling with that is one of the most important things that we should be doing as a church. Sundays should be the one thing that we come in not expecting to experience a cup filling.
Right.
That will come.
Yeah.
Not because of an emotional experience, but when you attach yourself to history and it becomes who you are today.
It changes kind of the way that you think about, like, not only us as a Christian person, but like in a community of Christian people. Like, it's not just this church. Like, it connects every church. That's really cool to
Why
think
do
about.
why do we do the Apostles' Creed?
Yeah.
And what do I say every single week in a world where we nitpick?
Yeah.
What divides us?
Yeah.
Our story is our story.
Yeah.
And if we could all be a little humble to say, okay, the direction we go and the things we emphasize in our tradition don't have to be absolutes that we're the only ones right and everyone else is wrong. How arrogant and stupid can we be? Mm-hmm. Like, let's get to the essentials and have unity in those essentials. Everything else is just, we're probably all wrong.
Yeah.
In the end. But that's where, again, it's not about an individual. It is the church connecting to God's story. It is us as a community connecting to the disciples sitting in an upper room.
So even the way that God taught us how to do liturgy and worship is a reminder that we cannot be so prideful that we take it to disunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm more right than anybody else.
That's kind of cool that he did that all the way back then.
Because it's about connecting to about connecting to his work.
Yeah.
So the Jews would frame their worship life. Every year, their worship would begin with reenacting and participating in what God did so long ago. That became a part of who they were. It would shape how they were going to live tomorrow and today. So
it's also a great way to create a lifestyle for them.
Right.
Which creates a lifestyle for us. So you can't...
A corporate lifestyle, not an individual one.
Right.
But how we go through the world together. Yeah.
Sorry, my brain is... I love this kind of stuff. It makes me think a lot.
It does. It does. So think about it. Let's go back to Paul and the Corinthians.
Yeah.
They were worshiping, right?
Yeah.
They were getting together in the house church, and they had liturgy. They didn't have the word for it, but they were ordering how they worship together. And how they worship together was saying and doing certain things. When it came to the Eucharist, the blood and the bread, as this is where we'll talk more about Passover in a second, their liturgy was not connecting to the past. Their liturgy was about me right now and what I want right now.
Yeah.
And they got to experience their fill when no one else could. And Paul was saying, that's not right worship. You might think you went home filled with the Lord's presence, but this is an abomination.
Yeah.
How can you pretend to be worshiping when there are people that leave full and others that leave hungry? When the history of our people is you will share lambs if you have to, and everyone will get an equal amount, and everyone will eat this lamb, and everyone will paint on the doorposts. No one will be excluded because of economic reasons. And yet here you are as a church, and you're eating the lamb, and they don't get to eat one.
Yeah.
You're eating the bread, and you're drinking the blood, but they don't get that. So you're saying in your worship, the Lord passes over you, but the Lord doesn't get to pass over the poor. The Lord gets to pass over the powerful who has access to things, but the Lord doesn't pass over people who have nothing. You're leaving them out to die in unmarked doorposts because you get to eat your fill. And if Sundays become all about me getting my fill, which means I'm not giving of myself and sharing so that others can be filled too, then Paul's saying your liturgy is not liturgy. Your worship is wrong because it's just about you.
Making it about you.
And people are going to leave hungry because you don't want to serve because you need your fill.
Ooh.
They're only having the Passover once a year. You're supposed to eat a meal. You're supposed to eat the rest of the year.
This is true.
Right?
This is true. Yeah.
But you're not reenacting.
Right.
That's what liturgy is.
Yeah.
So right worship is really important. The elements of your service, you got to ask yourselves, is it connecting us to God's larger picture, God's story? Is it pointing to what God has done for us in that perfect tense kind of a world? Or is it just about me and what I'm feeling today? And that's the problem. Because God has now largely been relegated to an emotional help animal. I know God exists if God makes me feel a little better today. But guys, I know God exists, or I have faith in this God, and I love the Lord. Not because of how God's made me feel better, but because of what this story means for me. And I connect in worship, not through song. I just don't. I'm not an emotional guy like that. When I get emotional in a church service, it's when I'm talking about Jesus. And I'm connecting what his story did and does and is doing for me and for this community. So, right worship matters. It shapes who you are. It shapes what story you focus on. It changes how you view the people in the pews next to you. It changes the songs you want to sing. It changes the sermons you want to hear. It changes how you disciple on a Wednesday night. The goal is to connect us to history and make that history our present reality, and to make that present reality our future hope. And so liturgy is the way we order a service. And guys, I'm telling you, how you order a service and what those elements are the most important thing we can do as church communities. We should never take it so lightly to just throw something in there because somebody else is doing it and it sounds kind of cool. That's what we did with worship bands and Hillsong. So, let's talk about Passover, and then I'm going to answer one more question of how we order our service at Harbor.
Okay.
We're at an hour and 7 minutes, so we got to make this quick.
Give my brain a second to catch up.
Okay. So Passover, I do want to say, this is the Lord passing over. This is the Lord's Passover.
Yes.
Right? And so when they paint this doorpost with the blood and they eat this unleavened bread, they became a community visibly marked separate from the Egyptians. They just are now a separate people. And what I love about the Passover is they are a people who are marked by blood and bread. That's what separates them. Blood on a doorpost and the bread that they eat. And that's the distinction. And this blood, by the way, remember, blood in Scripture is the source of life. That represents the life of a being. It's why the story of Cain and Abel, when Cain kills Abel, the Lord says to Cain, your brother's blood is still crying out from the ground. His life is crying out from the ground. It's why when God finally permits us to not be vegetarian anymore, after the flood, he says, you may eat the animals, but you may not consume their blood, is because the source of life is not ours to take and consume. That is the source of their life, and that belongs to God. And even in the sacrifices, what they did with the blood of an animal actually mattered, right? And so the Lord passes over. They become a people who are marked by blood and bread. So God uses the created order. He uses that life. That life becomes the source of life for everyone else. That lamb painted on the doorpost, because God says so, right?
Yeah.
Becomes not the place, not taking their place, but becomes the life that's given up so that they can live. The life that's given away so that they can live. And so they become a people who are marked by blood and bread that's eaten hastily as they reenact being pushed out of Egypt as fast as they can be pushed out of Egypt. You ain't got time to let it leaven, right?
Right.
You just go. You're on the go. And that's important for us today in our worship as well. So I do want to say, as the Passover, when Jesus goes to Maundy Thursday service, we are a people who become, in this moment, he does what we call the Last Supper, right? It's just the thing that happened. But he says, here is my body. And he gives them bread. And that's unleavened bread, right? Because it's the Passover meal.
Right.
So this is my body, broken for you, take and eat. So this is Jesus saying, I'm your unleavened bread. Here's my blood, the blood in the new covenant, right? This is what's going to mark you as my disciples, is blood and bread. Yeah. Jesus offers himself up in that moment, and this will be important to talk about on Maundy Thursday, but Jesus offers himself up in that moment as the lamb that we paint on the doorposts of our lives. The bread that we eat hastily. Because why? Well, because he's coming back and there's work to do.
Yeah.
And so we eat with staff in hand and the sandals on and the coats on because there's work to do. We got work to do. The Lord's coming back and God has come and we got to share the good news. And so we as God's people should always center ourselves first around the Passover of Christ, where the blood of Christ marks us as God's people, no matter who we are. No longer just Jew, but all over the world, every skin color, every gender, we are marked on the doorpost of our lives by the blood of Christ, the Lamb who wasn't murdered, the one who didn't take our place, but the one who gave his life, and the source of life, which is God's life himself, becomes the way that we live.
You can't be selfish with the lamb.
You can't be selfish with the lamb.
You got to share it.
You got to share the lamb.
That's kind of cool.
You see what I mean?
That's kind of cool.
So be dressed and ready for action so you can share the lamb, and make sure your church is sharing the lamb. But that's just a quick kind of rundown. So I just want to say, like, how we order our service here at Harbor is intentional.
Yeah.
Okay, some of them might seem a little odd, like, why are we receiving communion every week? I've gotten that question many times over the years. John Wesley would look at me and be like, you're not taking it enough.
Not enough.
John Wesley would say, as often as you can possibly, if you
That's
can
right.
take it 3 times a day, not take it. If you can receive communion 3 times a day, receive it.
Yeah.
3 times a day. Why? What's he saying? Because liturgy matters.
Yep.
Have your life shaped now by what happened so long ago in this perfect tense. It happened then, but it's still happening to
now.
you today.
Yeah.
Christ is still offering you his body and his blood. We are still marking our lives, the doorposts of our lives, with the blood of Christ, and we are still eating this body that is unleavened, quickening and hastening the day of the Lord, right? And so we receive communion every week. We recite the creed every week. We have scripture readings every week. We do those things because they connect us to the story of yesterday, but that becomes our story today. And so we receive communion because we want to make sure the first day of the week, because Sunday's the first day of the week for us as Protestants, on the first day of the week, our lives are shaped by the Passover. Our lives are shaped by blood and bread, so that when we go to day 2, the way we live reflects the story we connected to on day 1, where we share the lamb, where we live out the Sermon on the Mount.
I like to tell the kids, and maybe they don't understand it right now, and that's okay.
That's okay.
But I always, when I have these stories with them, especially about Jesus, I remind them that you can't have a interaction or a Jesus moment and not be changed.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go and I receive communion.
Yep. Language matters, right?
Language
In liturgy.
matters.
Yep, it does.
When I receive the communion, that is a Jesus moment.
Yeah.
And so I should be changed in that moment.
It's why John Wesley calls the Eucharist, we call it the Eucharist. Our liturgy is, okay, it was the Last Supper that happened, but the liturgy is the Eucharist, or in our word, with my communion.
Yeah.
That is our Passover meal where we reenact, and we are the disciples sitting at the table with Jesus. Mm-hmm. That's what happens to us. And John Wesley calls it a means of grace.
Means of grace.
Because in that moment of receiving, mysteriously, we encounter the very real presence of God in Christ when we receive that. What's he mean? Well, hear this. When we receive communion on a Sunday, you literally, in this mysterious way, become one of the disciples sitting next to Jesus.
Because it's happening.
Because it's happening to you, with you, and us as a people. We become the table. And Jesus is the presence in the center, and we are literally in that story with him. That's not about Peter, James, and John. It is. We're part of their story. It is about what God is doing right now. We become the people at the table. And so that history becomes our present.
That's good stuff. I like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to encourage you, you know, even if you don't live in this area, or you watch this and you're looking for churches somewhere, or you're just looking at churches in general, look at how they worship.
Yeah.
Is it all experiential? Are there elements that are very intentional where you feel like you are connecting to something much deeper? Okay, it might look a little ritualistic. Don't let that be a bad word.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, but does it connect me to the story of God? Does it make it real today? And I want to encourage you that go to Harvard to start thinking about what we do in that kind of a sense.
Yeah.
On a Sunday morning, pay attention. What's the liturgy here? Meaning, how are we ordering our service? What elements do we have in the service? What is that element doing for us? How is that connecting me to God's story? Those are the questions that we want to ask. And those are the questions for you to ask on a Sunday morning, to say, oh, wait a minute. Wait, I'm really at the table with Jesus? Yeah, you're really at the table with Jesus.
Now I'm thinking about time.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be an interesting day for me.
Yeah, it'll be a good day. Well, even when you get to the benediction, when we say that great blessing to each other, you know that literally you become the Israelite sharing that to each other. You become that story when you are reciting that ritualistically on a Sunday morning. It's not a touchy-feely thing. My whole purpose as a pastor is to connect us to the story that happened and happens and is happening and will happen to us today. Circle.
Marvel has it wrong.
Cyclical.
Marvel has it wrong.
Yeah. Hey, how you worship matters, friends. It really does matter. Even on your personal level, or on a personal level in your personal life. How and why you're reading your Bible, that matters. What you think about, or not what you think about when you pray, but why you're praying, that matters.
It is kind of cool, too, to just, like, know that in this culture where we feel very isolated and individualistic, like, we are not alone. We have
the witnesses of saints for centuries
so
that
cool.
aren't just past figures, but they are in our present too, as we live their story too.
I have a question for after.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't want to break everybody's
Fair
brains
enough.
right now.
Hey, the best thing you can do for your kids is to connect them to their past so that it becomes their present.
Yeah.
Their really real lived experiential present. Don't teach them to constantly be searching for ways to quell their emotions. Don't be searching for things on a regular basis where God is your emotional support dog that's trying to just make you feel
Right.
better. If you want to feel better, if you want to have joy and consistency in your faith, allow God to connect you to the story. Your feelings, your emotions will go up and down. Joy is when you know who you are,
Yeah.
where you're from, what's happening to you, and where God is leading you. That's what joy is. That's what worship is all about. And if we get anything right at Harbor, may it be how we worship and why we worship on a Sunday.
Yep.
There you have it, friends. I think that's enough. I've coughed enough. My nose is running a bit, but I hope you've
Everybody's
enjoyed
brains
that.
are tired now.
Spend some time this week, look into the Passover yourself,
Yeah.
but start thinking about the Passover as liturgy and God shaping their worship. And then, how does God want us to worship?
Yeah.
It's an important question. It's a good one, though. Guys, I'm out. I love you. Pray for us. We'll see you later.
Bye. Did I do my do to do to do do do? Do to do to do 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 do.